PACE sets out to strike the right balance between the powers of the police and the rights and freedoms of the public. Maintaining that balance is a central element of PACE. PACE includes codes of practice to specify what the police can do in the areas of stop and search, arrest, detention and investigation, identification and interviewing detainees. PACE 1984 mainly affects the day-to-day operation of the police force. It states and lays out how the police have to do their job and almost as a bible for police protocol. It states that they are allowed to stop and search a person within society, relying on that they have reasonable suspicion that they are carrying prohibited articles or have committed or preparing to commit a crime. It also states that they can arrest someone to gather information or evidence against a suspect. They can also detain a suspect to also gather evidence against a suspect. They can also investigate and identify the suspect and interview the detainee to question them and gather facts. Paddy Hill, Jerry Hunter, Johnny Walker, Hugh Callahan, Richard McKinley and Billy Power were in Birmingham in 1974 when a bomb attack went off. Due to the 6 men being of a Northern Irish descent and due to the IRA being at large during this period of time, they were arrested for the bombings, however they were innocent. The 6 men spent almost 17 years behind bars until the case against them was quashed in 1991. The 6 men were travelling to attend a funeral of another IRA member who was blown up when planting a bomb in Coventry. Due to the 6 men being involved with the IRA, the police arrested the 6 men for the bombings under suspicion it was an act of terrorism committed by the IRA. To get the conviction, the police brutally tortured the 6 men to eventually commit to the crimes, although they were innocent. Due to the introduction of PACE in 1984, now police interviews in custody have to be recorded. Mr. Mullen, who found the case and fought for the freedom of the 6 men, says that a miscarriage of justice such as the Birmingham 6 case was not likely to happen again. Chris Mullen, this from the BBC website on the 14th of March 2011. In PACE, it states that a constable may arrest without a warrant if anyone who is about to commit an offence, anyone who is in the act of committing an offence, and anyone whom he has reasonable grounds for suspecting to be about to commit an offence, or anyone whom he has reasonable grounds for suspecting to be committing an offence. This section of PACE affects the police force when making arrests, as it means they can arrest a suspect in the street without proof that they have committed a crime, just that the police officer has enough reasonable suspicion to suspect the suspect in the street as someone links to an offence. However, they don't have to be necessarily guilty. They can be innocent just as long as the police officer has reasonable suspicion that they have committed an offence or are involved with a crime or preparing to commit a crime. Also, it states that a police officer can arrest a suspect if they have reasonable suspicion that they are preparing to commit an offence or in the process of committing the offence. For the police force, PACE has helped to make the police force's job much easier, as it states the protocol that they have to follow and makes their jobs easier to understand from a public eye, as a copy of PACE is available online for the public to read so they can get an understanding of what the police are doing and what they can do and can't do in the situations of stop and search, detention and arrest. It also makes the police's job easier, as for when they have to deal with a suspect and follow protocol, they can refer back to PACE and make sure they are doing their job correctly and can check what they can and can't do. Also, in the case of the Birmingham 6, PACE really helped the police understand what they can and can't do, and in the circumstances they knew they had done wrong, so the case finally was quashed. However, it can hinder the police's job, as it can make them more open to confrontation from the public, as the public can view the PACE Act, which means they can gain knowledge of what the police can do and what they can't do in certain circumstances. This makes the police very open to confrontation about what they are doing, which means that if the police do not follow protocol, the public may pick up on it and report it as an unlawful arrest, and the case will get quashed if this is proven. Also, the case of the Birmingham 6 showed that before PACE was introduced, police did not follow protocol and they just did whatever they wanted to do to gather evidence and persuade people to admit the crimes they hadn't committed.
Royal Military Police, when allowed to do a citizen arrest, they are similar to the normal police. When they see a citizen doing something wrong, and they can do the citizen arrest and wait for the police to come take them away. The next thing they can do is when they go abroad to protect a base in a different country, then they'll have to work with the local police in that country as well. This means more conformed and regulated procedure and collaboration across the RMP and our police. More than 100 people claim they were criminally abused and ill-treated over the 8-year period in the conflict. The Royal Military Police is leading an independent investigation operation more. Armed Forces Minister Penny Mordaunt has said the military are sometimes subjected to legal crimes. This statement shows a news story in the Royal Military Police investigating a scene that happened in Afghan about UK soldiers abusing their civilians. It also shows abuse of power from them. A constable may arrest without a warrant anyone who is about to commit an offence, anyone who is in the act of committing an offence, anyone who has a reasonable grounds for suspecting to about to commit an offence, anyone who has a reasonable grounds for suspecting to be committing an offence. This will affect them in a way that if they see someone breaking the law, they will know about anyone that they can do and know how to do a citizen's arrest. It helped that Royal Military Police officers investigate and prevent crimes from happening because it provided codes of practice, stop infringement for full liberties because serving personnel and more aware of human rights affecting their arrest and prosecution. This means the treatment of arresting soldiers more safeguarded because they can have codes of practice of detention of suspects. Serving personnel could take advantage of law but they can prosecute it under the UK law abroad. So if they're protecting a base abroad and go off in another country, their law is different to the UK and they can take advantage of that. Then they could come back and be in trouble for doing so. I believe that since PACE has been introduced, then they're able to give guardians and stop and search, arrest and seizure